Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ate My Podcast. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
I'm Justin.
And this week we're talking about the episode Normal Again.
Nothing is normal in this episode.
But what about the normal things that the people do normally? It was so normal. It was so marvelous.
Oh yeah,
Aside
like Buffy fighting like your regular monster only to not have a normal day. Or so.
So, this episode originally aired March 12th, 2002, attracting approximately 5 million viewers, which is pretty substantially down from the previous week, because the previous week was 5.6 million. I am pretty sure that this episode was something they had in the can from like earlier in the season, and it was just like, when we need more time, we can air this.
I suppose.
Because they wouldn't air another episode until April 30th.
Maybe one of those sorts of cases. Either that or it was one crazy draw from the random hat.
Well, and also it doesn't really do a whole lot of referencing previous stuff. I mean, they do a little with Xander, but there's like one scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to the plot.
What?
Buffy searches newly rented houses for the trio's hideout, and the three discover her on their surveillance equipment. When she gets a bit too close, while they hide in the basement, Andrew Wells calls on a demon that attacks Buffy and starts a fight. The demon grabs Buffy and stabs her with a needle-like skewer thingy in his forearm. Buffy flashes to a scene in a mental hospital where a patient cries out as she's held by two orderlies and injected with a needle. Buffy wakes up alone outside the trio's house with no demon to be seen. Hurt and confused, she walks home. Willow prepares herself for talking to Tara, but spots Tara speaking to another woman with a quick kiss on the cheek, and Willow walks away wounded. Tara notices her retreating, but it's too late to chase after her. At the Double Meat Palace, Buffy works like a zombie, and flashes back to the mental hospital where a doctor announces that it is time for her drugs. Willow and Buffy talk about Xander's disappearing act after his aborted wedding and Willow's attempt to talk to Tara. Xander surprises girls by showing up at the house and wonders about Anya and how to repair his relationship with her. The girls tell him Anya left a few days ago and try to reassure him that everything will work out in time. Buffy runs into Spike at the cemetery and they talk about the events of the wedding that didn't happen. A confrontation begins between Xander and Spike, and as Willow tries to break it up. Buffy gets weak and collapses. Xander manages one punch to Spike before his attention is drawn by Buffy. Back in the reality of the mental hospital, a doctor informs Buffy that she has been hallucinating in the hospital for the past 6 years, and everything she knew to exist in Sunnydale isn't real. She's shaken and confused, especially when both of her parents appear together. Hank having abandoned his family years earlier, Joyce having subsequently died in the Sunnydale world. Buffy falls back into the Sunnydale world, finding herself surrounded by her concerned friends. Willow and Xander get Buffy home, and she recounts what she saw and was told at the mental hospital. Dawn, hurt when told she doesn't exist in Buffy's ideal alternate reality, while Willow organizes a plan to research. Buffy falls back to the reality of the mental hospital, where her doctor explains to her parents that she has been catatonic from schizophrenia for all of the past 6 years, except for a brief period of lucidity, which Buffy dimly remembers as her time in heaven. I love how they tie that in. It's so good. And that her life as the Slayer has been an elaborate, improvised hallucination that she has constructed for herself in her mind. Explaining what Buffy realizes is an extreme improbability and illogically compared to the mental patient scenario. In Sunnydale, Warren Mears and Andrew Wells return to their hideaway with boxes after leaving Jonathan alone. Leery of their secretive behavior, Jonathan suspiciously questions the contents of the boxes before trying to leave the house himself. Warren doesn't agree with that idea and convinces Jonathan to stay in the basement. Willow shows Buffy a picture of the demon that stung her and tries to comfort her friend. Buffy confesses to Willow that in the beginning of her Slayer life, she told her parents about vampires and was put in a clinic for her supposed insanity. A period that will be covered in a comic, but not in the TV series. Buffy wonders if she's still there, and therefore Sunnydale doesn't really exist, but Willow assures her that that isn't true. Although, of course, that's what her fucking hallucination would tell her. Xander and Spike patrol for the demon that hurt Buffy. They subdue and capture it. Dawn comforts Buffy, who dazedly notes that Dawn has been misbehaving and the problems need to be dealt with before coming to in the hospital, where her mother reminds Buffy that Dawn does not exist. Dawn realizes through Buffy's babbling that she's considering this and rushes from the room. Xander and Spike manhandle the demon into Buffy's basement, chaining it, while Willow breaks off its stinger to make the antidote, which that she'll synthesize without using magic. Later, Willow presents the antidote to Buffy in a mug and leaves her to drink it, as Spike delivers a monologue urging her to abandon the life that's grown so hellish for her and choose peace with him. This misfires, convincing Buffy to reject the antidote, which he pours into the trash can, and with it the delusion of being a vampire slayer. In the hospital, Buffy tells the doctor and her parents that she wants to be healthy and rid of the thoughts of Sunnydale. The doctor tells her that she has to do what is necessary to destroy the elements that draw her back there, like her family and friends, in order to truly be healthy. Will and Buffy are talking in the kitchen. Xander arrives at the house and finds Buffy alone in the kitchen. He talks to her about Spike, but she knocks him out cold and drags him into the basement, where Willow is already bound and gagged. Buffy finds Dawn upstairs. After first opening a door and not finding her there, chases her through the house as Dawn pleads that she is real. Dawn is bound and gagged in the basement with the others with the chained demon. In the mental hospital, the doctors urge Buffy to make the task easy on herself, so Buffy unchains the demon in the basement to kill her friends for her. Xander pleads with Buffy to free his hands, but as she retreats under the stairs. Meanwhile, Tara shows up at the house and finds everyone in the basement. She uses magic to free Willow and Tara and attack the demon, but the demon is too strong for them. Buffy grabs Tara's feet through the stairs, making her fall and knocking her unconscious. At the hospital, Joyce encourages Buffy to fight against the Sunnydale reality, telling her that she has the strength to fight against the harshness of the world and must fight because she has people who love her. Buffy, inspired by her mother's mischosen words, takes her advice to believe in herself literally, thanking her mother and saying goodbye to her as she chooses a life of suffering in the nightmarish Sunnydale reality over the much less arduous world presented by the mental institution. Buffy wakes up in Sunnydale to save her friends. She kills the demon and then reconciles with her friends, urging them to quickly make her that antidote while she stands on guard against relapsing again. Back at the hospital, Buffy is still sitting in the corner of her room, now completely unresponsive as the doctor shines a light onto her pupils. He tells Buffy's heartbroken parents that she's gone. As the camera pulls away out of the room, Buffy has succumbed to her illness. There's no flashback to Sunnydale at the end of this episode. The creators then leave the audience wondering, which is the true reality. Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so what did you all think of this episode?
Crazy.
Marvelous job with making everyone think that the entire series was a complete figment of their imagination.
Isn't it, though? Isn't it just fiction anyway?
No, the entire episode is constructed to be, it's like the concept of a writer writing a show.
Yeah.
Like, it's great, because, like, there's this line where she's like, well, what's more realistic? Some chick in a mental institution or me being the chosen one who fights vampires and demons?
Well, yeah. Being the superhero fighting off the demons and vampires, yeah, I would say that's not the reality, but that's kind of the reality of this show.
Yeah. Yeah, I quite like the episode. I haven't actually watched this one in quite a while, because I remembered not liking it at the time.
Ah, yeah.
But now on a second viewing, I liked it a lot more. It's quite fun.
It's not bad, it's just like... It is an interesting concept anyway.
Yeah, but it is kind of clearly like, well, we need to fill time because we need to get the next 4 episodes ready. Because nothing really happens.
It's gonna be a doozy, ain't it? Soon.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the next few episodes. They aren't going to be happy.
You're not sorry.
But just as it is with the additional side stories with this, Xander's back and he feels terrible. Well, what did you expect, good sir? And then, of course, the trio. Just, ugh.
Where's the trio?
Yes, we get a little bit more about the trio, but nothing terribly important.
No, just little bits of, oh, look, this tiny little threads are starting to fray and just things are just gonna go.
Yes. So, for music in this episode, we just have the original score.
Mm-hmm.
And for international titles, in French, Adrift.
Mm.
And in German, Two Worlds.
It works. Adrift kind of is a little bit better, sort of leaving it the sense of, is this dream that you think?
Yes. So, do either of you have any other thoughts about this episode?
It kind of leads you to think about all the other particular things that have happened in the series and just sort of had those particular thoughts in your head like, wow, even for Buffy, this is kind of unrealistic.
Yeah, I quite like the episode. I really like that they reference, like, when Buffy died. That's when she was, like, lucid in this other reality and somewhat normal.
Also, speaking of which, I think this is technically now 3 with the particular times, or maybe 4 times that Buffy has died. Since there was
She's died twice.
She's only died twice.
She's only died twice.
Okay.
She died once at the end of season 1, but that was for, like, a minute. And then she died at the end of season 5, and that was for, like, 3 months.
Nah. So we're not involving other particular sections of her going through lucid dreams and her being in another dimension?
No, because she didn't die.
That wasn't dying.
I don't know, with the Master coming up and giving her a nice neck twist.
Yeah. So, next week we will be talking about the episode Entropy. It's going to be a good time.
I'm sure.
So, Anya seeks vengeance on Xander and finds comfort with Spike. Willow and Tara arrange a date. And I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
It'll be fine. Nothing horribly terrible is going to happen.
Something tells me everything terrible's gonna happen sooner or later.
Well, sooner than later.
Yeah.
Actually, sooner and later.
Sooner and later. Even better.
Yep. So until next time, I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Justin.